For today's tutorial, I have a really quick little doormat to make so we can dress up the front porch for Halloween. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. All right, to make our doormat, we are using felt. And this is just a piece of brown felt. The color doesn't really matter. This is what I had. And it's a little thicker than what you get usually in the little felt squares at the craft store. This is from some of the felt you buy by the yard at the fabric store. But either one should work just fine. And we're going to paint the surface, the top surface, so it won't really matter what color it is. Speaking of paint, we're going to be using this one. This is Folk Art's Vivid Orange in their multi-surface paint. Works really well for just about any project. Squirt a little bit out on my tile. It takes quite a bit, I know that, because it's going to soak in. And it doesn't matter that that will make this stiff. That's kind of what we want. You don't need a fabric paint for this because we kind of want it to make this stiff so it lays flat. So the inspiration for this one, I was looking at a magazine that had an article about decorating your house, your real house for Halloween, specifically your front porch. And off to the side, they had pictures of several recommended things that you could shop for. And one of those things was this really cute Halloween doormat, and I thought that would be really cute to do for the dollhouse and really quick. Perfect for a Tuesday project. All right, so that's one coat of paint. I'm going to let this dry. I'm actually going to do a second coat off camera so we have a nice bright orange base to work on top of. And when that's all dry, I'll come back and we'll go to the next step. All right, hopefully I've got everything set up where you can see it. So this has 2 coats of orange on it. It's not even, but it doesn't need to be even because a real doormat doesn't have an even coat of paint. Now I've put out a little bit of yellow paint. This is Bright Yellow by Apple Barrel. And I've got the handle of my paintbrush. Now, this is a nice big one. I tried it out a little bit on a scrap. So what we're going to do is we're going to put yellow dots all over. Kind of space them out, and they don't have to be, in fact, you don't want them to all be the same size. And they don't even have to be perfectly round. It's okay. But this is going to be our background. And now that needs to dry. And when those yellow dots are dry, we'll come back and do the next step. And easiest brush cleaning ever. I just have to wipe it off. I'll see you in a second. All right, our yellow dots are all dry, so now I've got my paintbrush again, and I've got a pool of white paint over here. And we want 2 dots of white, but I want these dots to be a little bit bigger than any of the yellow dots. And then that also needs to dry, and that needs to be completely dry before we can move on to our next step. All right, our white paint has dried overnight, so that's completely dry. So the next thing we're going to do is use the handle of the paintbrush, and I've got black paint over here, just a plain black. And I'm going to make 4 dots. Try not to make them too huge, and kind of up and down. You don't want them in a straight line. Excuse me, I keep coughing this morning. I'm not sure why. Then I've got a toothpick because I find that a brush is just, you get too big a line. If I can use, I don't have a fine enough brush that I can control all that well. If you have a really fine paint marker, You might, because they make pens that are filled with acrylic paint. If you have one of those and a really fine tip in black, I would say try that. But I only have white paint pens. I don't have any black ones. Almost around that one. Sorry for, hopefully I'm not boring you to death here. Now, we're going to make the letter B. And I will probably go over these lines again with the paint once it dries off camera to get a little bit more of a solid line. But I want you to see what I'm doing. A black, single black dot on each one of those. Now, I'm only going to do one of these guys on camera, and then I'm going to turn the camera off and finish. But from each of these black dots, these are going to be your spiders. So we're going to make a line up, and then on each side of that dot, make 4 lines going out for little spider legs. And it is really tight. It's a really tight area, so and I'm going to have to neaten that one up off camera. So I'm going to turn the camera off, finish these spiders, and then when the paint dries, I'm going to put a second coat of black on. When that dries, I'll be back. Well, here's our doormat alongside of our little Halloween sign, both sitting at the front door of the beachside bungalow, and I love how our little doormat turned out. It was super simple, super quick to make, and I hope you enjoyed the project too. If you did, hit the like button and leave me a comment. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoyed my content, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.